Welcome back to the New Equity Network show. Michael Yorba, your host. Co-host is Ed Baxter here, broadcasting to you live on the Dallas-Fort Worth Business Authority, 1190-60 AM KVCE. All right, my guest this segment is Dennis Calvert, President, CEO, Largo, Inc., stock symbol BLGO. And you're going to definitely want to know what this man's doing. Okay, Dennis, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, real quick, Ed's got some questions for you. Ed Baxter, my co-host, he's got a wealth of experience in the investment banking sector, so he'll be coming at the conversation from his perspective. But before we get into and bringing Ed on his scalability question, I wanted you to give an overview of the types of customers, the types of clients in industry sectors that your new technology is about to really relieve a lot of pain for.
Yeah, thank you. Sure. So when you talk about water, that's a huge world, right? So everybody thinks drinking water, and that's a segment, municipal drinking water. One of the challenges of municipal drinking water is that it's the slowest to adopt, right? It's one of the biggest. It's also one of the slowest. There's other market segments where the demand is so great and industry's looking for solutions because they have to deal with these contaminants, whether it's a drought that's driving adoption or whether it's a regulatory enforcement, this sort of constricting noose that says, hey, get this stuff out of the water, right? Or there's a public outcry as it relates to byproducts that are left in waste streams from agriculture or from oil and gas, right? Mm-hmm. So those are big drivers. So what we're doing is we're bringing an invention. We're bringing this discovery, a patented, proven design that allows you to take an invention and scale up to serve a market segment with its unique requirements. So what we've elected to do is to focus on licensing and partnering with leaders from these various market segments to take the technology into full-scale design and market. So the idea is we bring them a competitive edge. We bring them a tool to increase market share and compete with their world. And, of course, our goal is to really find a strategic partnerships for these various segments. So when you say water, right, you start with municipal, but municipal is down the list. How about portable disposable for the emerging nations, the third world? How about portable systems for potential field use or military use? How about ultra pure for pharmaceutical? Ag water for waste streams? Frack water for taking out the aromatics and some of these contaminants from post-fracking, which is a huge demand on the water supply. How about mining, right, where you got settling ponds and tailings ponds, and they have these acids and contaminants that, nitrates and things like that need to come out of the water. We bring a technical answer that is the cutting edge of efficiency for taking these contaminants out of these water and serving those industries. So what we're doing is we're focused on major players and companies that serve those markets.
Wow.
And we want to license the technology so they can scale up and go to market rapidly because they got the infrastructure and engineering to do it, and we don't. We're a technology company that frankly bootstrapped itself for years, and we've managed to survive what we call one of the worst economic downturns in the history of the United States. Survived it, advanced the science, got it positioned for significant validation through the University of Alberta, developed a cooperative research agreement, have now picked up a whole host of grants. And really in the last 6 months to 9 months, as I said, we've got wheels. We got the wheels on. This thing is running. And so now it's about, really raising the bar, right? Expand our shareholder base, properly capitalize our company. We'd love to move into a national exchange as soon as we're ready. We're not quite there, but we're working towards it. And then, of course, getting these strategic alliances done with industry is probably the most important piece, and we believe that appears readily available and right in front of us. So we're pretty excited about that.
I bet. Let me interrupt for just a second, only because of time constraints. And Ed's got a little familiarity with your industry sector, and he's got a couple of questions for you. Ed, come on in.
Morning, Dennis. Ed Baxter again. We've seen a number of different people who've offered what we call the holy grail for water filtration in the frac level, also for the potable level, also at the third world level. And we've seen things like sonic cavitation. We've seen other different forms of filtration with companies like Liberty Hydro. And we see your company with an oxidized type filtration system. What would you say the main difference in what is from your product versus theirs? And also, what makes it more adoptable as far as the industry is concerned?
Sure. Good question. So I think the biggest claim, so here's the thing. We did a study that is now the makings of peer-reviewed publication, okay? So it's going into science journals. It started with science, not industry. We chose that route for the very reason, the very issue you're raising, which is credibility. We knew that we needed to have results that were beyond reproach. And the results were performed on very difficult acids. The naphthenic acid, which is this byproduct of sulfur-reducing bacteria in mining, okay? It's a very tough contaminant. It's stable, it's small, it's hard to oxidize, hard to clean up, hard to remove from the water stream cost-effectively. Another one is 1,4-dioxane. 1,4-dioxane is a solvent. It's an industrial byproduct of industry. And by the way, 1,4-dioxane touches about 19% of the U.S. drinking water supply. It's not good. And so there's a keen focus on trying to get that out of that water. Anyway, those are the two areas of focus at first. And what we proved in the side-by-side comparison to every known technology to industry, every one, we were 20 times, 1/20th the cost and 10 times faster. So the biggest difference is that we present a cost effectiveness and a rate of effectiveness that is unprecedented. So now you say, okay, well, can you go to scale? Where are you at in the design phase? And so what we focused on first was replicating design so that we had full proof that this was represented as a scientific breakthrough. We've done that. Now we're at the design phase of piloting. We've got 2 pilots underway that are sponsored with financial support from Canadian and provincial and federal grants. We're now in discussions with industry partners to advance that to very large scale for things like ag water and oil and gas. And the next phase is to now take it into full-scale design ability, design for very high flow rates, because that's where it's got to go. Now, so most companies will not take the route we've chosen, right? Because what they say is, well, I'm tired of waiting for other people to do the work. So what they do is there is a lot of money, and they take a gamble that they pick the right segment. So just as an example, I was on the phone yesterday with one of the major players in the industry, and they asked the question, which area do you want to focus on, right? Which area of water treatment do you think you've got the most efficacy? You know what my answer is? I want to focus where you're going to make the most money. Not me, you. Because I've got an answer that can touch every segment. Where do you believe you can turn this into advancing market share? Because from my perspective, that's what we need to do. We help you make money, we make money. And so the business model really differentiates us from most of the players in the water industry. These guys have spent, not millions, tens of millions of dollars to pick a segment, prove up scalability and infrastructure in an incredibly competitive, high barrier to entry market. So we've chosen a different route. Okay?
Obviously, you've done a tremendous amount of research here. A couple of things that stand out as far as what you're doing. With the filtration part, you indicated you use less electricity than most other systems. That's one thing I don't think about there. The second thing would be, are there any industrial byproducts associated with it? Because you are using a filtration system. Is there any industrial byproduct available or that occurs as a part of the process?
Yeah, we don't know of any dangerous, but that's, here's the way that works, dangerous byproducts. Yeah, what happens is, one of the fears of all systems is, are you creating something worse than you're dealing with, right? You're mutating something. And when you look at destruction, destruction through oxidation, you're talking about the equivalent of a fire burning wood. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking these contaminants, we're driving them to their base element, which is typically a CO2, H2O combination. I mean, we are essentially chemically burning them. Now, there's no heat. It's not a heat transfer issue. It's an oxidation reaction, a redox, okay, which is commonly understood. And we've combined it with filtration. So the concept is, no, we don't know of inherently dangerous byproducts, but of course, that's part of the validation process when you get ready for commercialization. And the second piece is we're also using very efficient filtration combined with advanced oxidation. So the argument for safety, it goes like this. If the oxidation doesn't get them, the filter will. And we can certainly filter out disinfection byproducts as well. And so that's the answer. Now, that's a journey of proof that never ends, okay? You get that. So.
Got it. Dennis, we've got a minute left. We've got to sign off for this, but you have got the tiger by the tail. I really want to applaud you for your contribution to humanity and coming up with such a brilliant as mass, concept.
Well, it's really a whole team of science and the key inventor. And again, I think the takeaway for Largo is this is a small company, right? We've been historically underfunded, so we want to change that. We want to expand our base. We want to uplist our stock. The very obvious things are still there. But the difference is that we've chosen a route that we believe we've demonstrated consistency, reliability, integrity, and now it's time to break free and go commercial and turn this thing into a meaningful technology for the world and one that makes a lot of money for our shareholders. So that's our goal.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Dennis Calvert, President, CEO, Largo, symbol BLGO. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with Michael Hanberry, BTJ Consulting. We're going to talk about oil.